and probably the hottest commodity in terms of changing the whole look of your landscaping are ornamental grasses.
That's right.
It's anywhere you go with garden centers, everybody's talking about the ornamental grasses. The problem was most ornamental grass just looks like tall grass.
Right.
This changes the rules in terms of color. It changes the rules of the height because this gets about 3 to 4 feet tall and then maxes out. Whereas the
Right.
ornamental grasses that I had just went crazy.
Right.
And it became this massive effort every fall to have to cut them back. Real quick story for you, Kelly. Ornamental grass is how I wound up having a brand new fence installed around my pool area. Because my wife decided that instead of cutting it back about 4 years ago, that she would just set it on fire. And the wooden pool fence right behind it, which by the way, for 2 summers, my wife had said, you know, we should replace that fence. I'm not saying there's a correlation. This is so much more manageable, and it's purple grass.
Oh, and this, Dan, I couldn't really be more excited about this grass. And I love grasses, and I'm really so pleased we're able to offer this in our collection here this year from Cottage Farms. This is a variety of little bluestem, and I love that name, bluestem, because it tells you that there's a little something interesting about the color going on there with that grass. This is a little bluestem called Standing Ovation. And Dan, I'll tell you, when a plant's name tells me something about the plant, right? Standing ovation. This grass stands up. Like, unlike so many other grasses before it, this variety doesn't flop, it doesn't lodge, it doesn't, kind of bend halfway and break off halfway over. This is going to stand tall and upright, of course, not only through the summer, but into the fall when it starts to have that beautiful color. But maybe as important as that, and as you know this because you've got grasses on your farm,
Yep.
They have solid winter interest. I mean, they are something beautiful to look at when the snow flies. They stand up, they hold that color, and they look good. You get 4 seasons of interest out of this one plant.
And Kelly, very similar to what we were talking about with the hydrangea tree. This becomes a bookend to define spaces, and vertical growth, again, topping out at about
Right.
4 feet instead of 6 feet, 7 feet. And it is a wonderful way of drawing attention to those architectural interests that you might have.
Absolutely.
More and more people are going from just a garden to multiple gardens on their properties. And
Right.
to be able to connect them visually with even just one piece that's similar throughout that yard is a wonderful
Right.
way of making it joined together. And you're getting 4 plants here. You're getting 4 of these for $39.45. And these are perennials. They come back year after year after year, and ornamental grasses can last for decades.
Oh, absolutely. These are very long life plants. And, if you have a large area, that you do some gardening in, like you do at your farm, this is a great one of our products to pick up multiples of, so you can create that rhythm and that unity and that interest throughout the garden between all of your different beds, so you can appreciate that kind of architectural sentinel shape all the way from summer when it's that blue silver color that we're showing there on screen, and then into the fall in September and October and November when the grass takes on that almost russet color. I mean, it's just the magic of colors that you see on each of these plants, sort of in like a synchronized, choreographed kind of dance of grasses throughout the season from midsummer to fall is really, really magical.
And I hate to say it, but it makes regular ornamental grass look pretty boring.
Well, absolutely. I mean, this is a new variety to the market. We're really excited to offer it here at Cottage Farms and QVC. I actually, some of the images are taken at the Greater Des Moines Botanical Garden where I work, and we've been a big advocate of this grass, beautiful architectural masses of it throughout our property. I've got it out here actually in my front yard meadow at home. I think that image that's up there right now is actually a shot from the Botanical Garden, and you can just see there in the middle of the summer that silvery blue-green color. It just is such a standout piece of architecture in the garden for other perennials, including that milkweed we're going to talk about here in a minute. A great plant to sort of mix in with other perennials that are adding value for butterflies and other wildlife.
Kelly, the ornamental grasses that I currently had, again, all had to be cut back in the fall. This
Right.
to show photos of it in the winter. It's still
Absolutely.
a gorgeous grass. And cutting back regular ornamental grass, it was more than work. It was backbreaking. With this, you don't have to cut it back at all.
Well, you don't have to cut it back at all in the fall. It really it's you can wait all the way until early spring. And the nice thing about little blue stems is that they have a finer texture, so they're pretty easy to cut back. If you've got your gardening shears or your your garden scissors handy, sharp and ready, there maybe late March, early April, depends on what part of the country you're in. Of course, you can give these things a chop off. But just think then, from the time they've come up last May, all the way through the following March, you've gotten almost 10 months of really beautiful value out of this fantastic grass. And you remember, you're getting 4 of these plants in our landscape, our plug configuration that we offer here for Cottage Farms.
It's always interesting to see this wonderful shifting of colors that happens with great plants. So you'll enjoy the difference between this being a regular, green type of this actually is a natural prairie grass that grows here in America, isn't it?
That's right. That's exactly right. Yep. Actually, all the way, really about half of the country, in fact. Little Bluestem's native all the way to the eastern seaboard, all the way out through the plains as well. So it's a very adaptable grass too. When we see plants that have really wide ranges like that in the wild, that tells us something about their ability to respond to all different kinds of soil conditions, to different climatic variables. This is a really tough grass, and it's a really beautiful grass as well.
In the fall, it starts to seed up at the top, and it gets these puffy little, they're kind of like orangish.
Yeah, beautiful seed heads, kind of that soft kind of pinkish orange color. And there's just so many unique features to enjoy about this standing ovation little bluestem.
They're gorgeous. Coming up, Kelly, I got to tell you, I truly believe it is the most significant plant of the entire hour, but that's just because me and my passion